Hi, welcome to week two's big group hangout. Today we're going to talk about a teaching technique that uses colored cups. We've used this to keep track of students' understanding and how to best use our time to meet students' needs and answer their questions. I'm Elisa Kendon.
And I'm Melody Hageman.
And welcome to our hangout on air for CS Principals AIMS. Last week we learned about complex adaptive systems and agent-based modeling. We also had the opportunity to observe and draw conclusions about a mystery model. Week one culminated with an introductory NetLogo lab in which we created a program to draw turtle art. If you have any questions regarding week one or week two, please ask them in our comments section, and we will make time to address them during this hangout. We found that using 3 plastic cups is a great way for students to ask questions. We place 1 red cup, 1 green cup, and 1 yellow cup on students' desks, and they're stacked on top of each other. Students place their green cup on top of the tower if they're working along just fine. Green means go. They place the yellow cup on top if they have a question, but they can work on something else until you get to them. And that means that they can continue to work, but they do have a pressing question that they'd like you to address eventually. And then we ask them to place their red cup on top if they're stuck and they can't move until you come to help them. An example of this might be their screen is frozen or the mouse doesn't work. And this allows you to really quickly address immediate student needs and also just effectively use your time as you work your way around the class.
And it's really helpful for the students because it relieves them of holding their hand in the air until you can get to them. And you can just prioritize who needs assistance. You can think of it kind of as a student's own flight attendant button. So we actually like to use the cups in a variety of ways. I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint here. And we found that in teaching complex adaptive systems in our classrooms, it's really helpful to reinforce the characteristics of complex adaptive systems by using this complex versus complicated PowerPoint, which I'm going to pull up on the screen now. So let me share my screen. And so you'll see we have this game called Complex or Just Complicated. And for this game, you will give your students each a red cup and a green cup, or whatever color cups you have, just as long as you have 2 different ones. And each slide will show an image, and it asks the question, complex or just complicated. So you can have them in pairs or individually decide if they think it's complex or complicated. If they think it's a complex adaptive system, then they'll hold up their red cup. If they think it's just complicated, they'll hold up their green cup. And we have several different examples for you. This is located in the teacher resources for week 1. So it really helps to spark discussion among students. And if you can foster that discussion and really ask them to support their answers with evidence based on what they know about complex adaptive systems, you can end up with some really great debate and some really great evidence. Let's see. So that's an activity that we love, and it really helps solidify their understanding of complex adaptive systems and those 4 characteristics that are necessary to be complex. Now we're going to address some common issues that have come up in our smaller facilitator groups. And really the main issue that's come up was in the programming lab. So just remember, if you are creating shapes in your week 1 lab and you have common shapes appearing all the time, then if you just adjust your angle by 10 degrees, you will probably end up with more of a spiral shape than just like a square, a triangle, or a hexagon. So you don't really want your angle to be perfectly divisible by 30 or one of the factors of 360. And that should fix that, and you should get some beautiful turtle art.
And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to your facilitator directly or to post a question in our forum, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, coming up this week, you will be focusing on the CS Principles Big Idea #1, which is creativity in the context of modeling and simulation, where you will apply a creative development process when creating computational artifacts. Also, please tune in next Monday, November 16th for our next Hangout on Air. See you then.